Hi, I'm Adam, and I can't wait to start this very special bonus episode with you.
And I'm Joe. Me too!
And you know what, Joe? You're like the funniest person that I know.
Me too! With you!
And together, we're the Maladjusted Misfits.
And this is the one where we usually talk about Friends, but this week we're doing Romy and Michelle's high school reunion.
Too.
Well, I hope so. Hello, everybody.
Hello, out there in
Podcast
listening
land. Thanks for joining us, and welcome to our second bonus episode for season 2.
Yeah. Pretty soon we're going to be on season 3, talking about all kinds of new stuff.
Yep, new guest stars, new characters. It's going to be fun.
Gonna be fun.
So what are we doing this week, though?
Well, this is the one with Romy and Michelle's high school reunion.
Aww.
As we stated, we're ending each season of the podcast with a movie starring one of our friends. And this time, season 2, we're doing Romy and Michele starring Kudrow.
Woohoo! Our format's going to be a little different. Normally we comb through the episode of Friends, scene by scene, line by line.
Almost, yeah.
Almost line by line.
But we don't want to do that for a movie because it'd take too long.
Yeah, it's way too long. So we're going to keep our normal beginning stuff, an extended favorite line section.
Mm-hmm. As always, we'll have some really good quotes and one-liners from the movie.
Yeah. Favorite moments, favorite outfits, and I'll pepper some trivia throughout as we discuss the movie.
Yeah, and what we're going to be doing is like an Act 1 outline. And then we'll talk about different aspects of the movie at the end.
Yeah.
Kind of filling you in on our thoughts and stuff. But that way we don't ruin the whole thing for everybody.
We'll focus mainly on the characters. We have some trivia again. And of course, the majority will be on Lisa Kudrow because, again, this is a Friends podcast.
Yes. All right. So like I said, this week we'll be doing Romy and Michelle's high school reunion.
Woohoo!
The IMDb plot is 2 dim-witted, inseparable friends hit the road for their 10-year high school reunion and concoct an elaborate lie about their lives in order to impress their classmates.
So right off the bat, I have some trivia.
Okay.
Lisa Kudrow received a degree in biology from Vassar College.
Okay.
And Mira Sorvino a degree in Asian Studies from Harvard University.
Oh, jeez.
So during the production of Romy and Michele, they were nicknamed Smart and Smarter instead of Dumb and Dumber.
Wow. Smart girls are hot. We are also introduced to Valley Girls. Like, whatever.
Yeah, I read that the writer said she fashioned them after 2 overgrown Valley Girls,
Yeah.
which totally sums up their characters.
Yeah, that sounds pretty much it.
Yeah. So our director for the movie was David Merkin.
Okay.
And Adam, you should know David. He's a longtime producer of one of your favorite TV shows,
What's that?
The Simpsons.
Oh my gosh. I do remember seeing his name.
This is his first time directing a movie, though.
Okay.
Romy and Michele, and he only has 9 other directing credits under his name, mostly for writing. He's responsible for the Newhart ending, where Bob wakes up next to Suzanne Plachette instead of the old Bob Newhart.
Right. From the inn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that ending. That's so funny.
So he wrote that. But he's mostly a writer, but he directed this movie. And then our writer is Robin Schiff. Mm-hmm. And I got excited because I thought on IMDb that she wrote Grosse Pointe Blank.
Oh.
But it's a TV show called Grosse Pointe.
Oh, okay.
And she also wrote Working Girl, the TV series.
Oh. All right.
And then 10 Things I Hate About You.
Oh.
The TV series.
Oh. Well,
See
she
where I'm
keeps
going?
doing that.
Yeah. So I'm going to stop because
Okay.
she wrote all the series for this. When was the original air date of this movie?
The original air date was April 25th, 1997.
Okay.
So it was released during season 3 of Friends,
Okay.
which
is
coming
about
up.
to start. Yeah.
And it's released the day after the one with the Screamer aired, and it opened at number 2.
All right.
It was released the same week as Volcanoes, starring Tommy Lee Jones.
Which, funnily, we watched.
Yes, we watched not that long ago. And also in the top 10 that week was another high school reunion movie, Grosse Pointe Blank.
Aw, which is one of my favorite.
Right, which is another very good high school reunion movie.
Very, very funny. Yes. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend. All right, so I do have a little bit of trivia before we get started. And it's really just to talk about all the people in this movie that also guest appeared on Friends.
Okay.
So, first off, we have Julia Campbell. And she plays Christy in Romy and Michele. And she plays one of the divorce duo that Phoebe and Ross date, remember? She doesn't give a tiny rat's ass.
Right, with the guy from Gilmore Girls is the husband. Hums while he pees.
And she'll paint a room a really bright color without consulting.
Right.
And then we also have Elaine Hendricks, who plays Lisa in Romy and Michele. Plays Sally in Friends, where Ross hits on her in the pediatrician's office.
Yes, the pediatrician's office.
And then tries to, take her son, pretend her son is...
Come on, little Rossi. What's wrong with that man?
Mommy, what's wrong with that man? And then, obviously, we've noted before, Vincent Ventresca, who played Monica's boyfriend, fun Bobby, is in this movie.
Yes.
E.J. Callahan plays Mr. Lish in Romy and Michele.
Yes.
Played Al Z. Booker, who ate paper in the one where Estelle dies.
Yeah.
And it's common knowledge that Jennifer Aniston married Justin Theroux, who played the cowboy in Romy and Michele.
Right. I didn't know they got married.
Yeah,
Did
they got married. They're divorced now.
Oh.
They were married for a while.
I'm never caught up on the personal lives.
I told him the other day that Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez were getting a divorce. He goes, they got married?
Did they already get a divorce a long time ago?
No.
So before we get into any aspect of the movie, let's talk about recommendations. Joe, do you recommend this movie? And specifically, do you recommend it to our Friends fans?
I do. I think if you like Phoebe's quirkiness, especially from season 1, and you like fun fashion and dim-witted duos in absurd scenarios where you can wind them up and watch them go and see what shenanigans they get themselves into, you will enjoy this movie.
Right.
It is fun to watch. It's not thought-provoking. It's not deep and meaningful. It's like Wayne's World or Dumb and Dumber, literally. It's just enjoyable. It's good for a laugh. Yeah. I love Lisa in this movie. She's funny. Mira Sorvino is hysterical. Right. And Janine Garofalo is amazing.
Right. Yeah, I do love all three of them.
Yeah. Would you recommend it?
You know a movie's not taking itself too seriously when the adults are playing the kids in flashbacks. Right. And that kind of sums up how the movie is. It's silly. It's kind of about the trauma of high school and how none of it really matters later, and how ridiculous the idea of comparing your life to somebody else's life is.
Yeah.
But it's silly. It's so silly. It's just silly. And it's very okay with being silly. It's very fine just being like, we're just doing a silly comedy. Yep. We're not really making a whole lot of points. We're just having fun.
Yeah, it is fun. I would recommend it. I think most people that like Lisa Kudrow would enjoy the movie.
Yeah, a recommendation for me as well. I think most friends will get into this pretty easily. It's very along the same lines comedically as Friends.
So I didn't get to see your favorite lines, and I had a tough time because I wrote down at least 10 or 12.
Yeah, well, I think I ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5? I didn't know we could have 5.
Well, you did 3. I did 5.
Okay, because one of your 5 is one of the ones that I wrote down. So.
Okay.
All right.
So what I'll do is I'll start.
Okay.
And then we'll sandwich you in, and then I'll in too. That way it'll seem like it's spread out.
Because your number 1 was also one of the ones I wrote down. So go ahead.
So my number 1 was, do you have some sort of businesswoman special? At the diner. They're excited about being businesswomen.
Yeah. And then that lady is like, what kind of business are you in?
And they're just like, oh.
We didn't think about that.
I like that the waitress at the diner stumped him.
Who's 70 years old.
Right.
All right. So you want me to go now?
Yeah, now you go.
All right. So I like when Michelle is at the high school reunion and she goes, can I be honest with you? I never knew that we weren't that great in high school. I mean, we always had so much fun together. I thought high school was a blast. And until you told me that our lives weren't good enough, I thought everything since high school was a blast.
Right.
I like that she's just so like, what was wrong with
Right.
us?
I don't understand.
You were
thought it was
happy.
cool.
I was happy. What was wrong?
Right. And I think that's how most people are. And then they start going, well, but that guy has a boat.
Yeah.
And then you start to get into trouble.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think most people are like, I'm enjoying myself.
Right.
It's fine.
But we also know people that have boats, and they're not that fucking happy.
Right. All right, so I'm going to go with when they're fighting in the dream sequence toward the end, and they're both old ladies, and she's going, I'm the Mary, you're the pasty hag on her deathbed.
Oh, that's so funny. So I'm going to go with Romy on this one. I like when she walks up to Christy at the high school reunion after they've changed. They've got their own clothes on.
Right.
And she goes, I don't care if you like us, because we don't like you. You're a bad person with an ugly heart, and we don't give a flying fuck what you think. I think that's the only F word that they say to each other out loud.
Right.
Other people swear, but that's the only swear word they say.
And again, I think that's the message of the only message the movie has.
Right.
It's just like just do whatever makes you happy.
We don't give a fuck.
But that was that's how I lived high school.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't care.
Right.
You do whatever you want. I'm not paying attention.
As long as you're not hurting anybody.
All right. And then my third one was Romy. Peter, these are lungs.
No, that's...
No. I'm sorry.
That's not this movie.
That's Mira Sorvino from Mimic. All right. Anyway, I'm going to go with Romy.
Yeah.
This is a real one, believe it or not. Excuse me, I cut my foot before, and now my shoe is filling up with blood.
That's the most amazing getaway line I've ever heard in history. It's like, and then she does the dragging of her foot as she walks away.
Just leaves that guy to watch her.
So while I was researching trivia for this movie, there was a little snippet of them in 2019 getting back together, talking about the movie, and that was Mira Sorvino's favorite line. I thought that was too funny.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna finish with Heather. This is at the very end. This is the tag right before they're showing the credits. Right. So she has on this white dress with lemons all over it.
Right.
And if you know Heather in the movie, she's got black eyeliner, wears black in every scene. She's got black on. And she goes, this dress exacerbates the genetic betrayal that is my legacy.
Oh, so funny. I just her character is so much fun.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
My last couple are from her. So I had a...
Oh, when she's asked if she's going to the high school reunion.
Yeah, when I have her response to when she says, she's like, I'd rather put this out in my ass. She's holding a cigarette. I'd rather put this out in my ass.
Right. And then this one was also almost my top favorite. But yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, that's the one I'm going to do now.
Yeah.
My last Heather line. And again, it's one of those, it's kind of like the Friends thing, where it's her delivery.
Yeah.
It's not really the lines, it's how she does it. Yes. Again, Janine Garofalo, she's in line, talking to her friend from high school.
Right.
Friend, quote unquote. And she asked her if she had I thought you had a thing for Sandy. And she's, I did not have a thing. I did not have a thing. I did not have a thing. I was very much in love with him. Very much in love, and there's a difference. There's a difference. There's a difference.
I like how she turns to the customer behind her and goes, there's a difference.
It's lovely.
All right, so favorite moment. It was kind of hard to narrow it down, but we only picked one favorite moment. But I do have to go with, in the dream sequence, Michele knows the exact formula for the glue on the Post-it notes.
Right.
Because she starts off being kind of ditzy.
Right.
And then she goes, but then you just do this and this and this and this.
Right.
It was really funny.
You know, nowadays we could just look it up on Wikipedia and say what it says.
Right.
But yeah, my favorite moment, I really like when Michele, again in the dream sequence, gets hit by the limo and rolls across the entire top of the limousine and falls off the back. I think that's very funny. I don't know why. It's just hysterical to me.
All right. Favorite outfit. Although I liked all their sparkly stuff and it was fun and cute, I never would have worn any of it. But I was like, do you. It's so fun. But I went with the most normal outfit out of the bunch. They're in the laundromat and they're filling out their questionnaire for the reunion. So they're doing their laundry. Romy's got an outfit on. She's got on a white t-shirt with the 3 of hearts on it. So it's got the card, the 3 of hearts. And a black polka dot skirt and tennis shoes. But her bra is too small. Because it's laundry day.
Yeah.
It's laundry day. But it's super cute. Yeah. And that's like her relaxed outfit.
Right. I did a couple. I like black, so I liked a lot of Heather's outfits. Yeah. Even though she acts like she doesn't look good at anything. And then I almost had Phoebe. I almost had Michelle's Madonna prom dress.
Oh, yeah.
Because she looks so cute. And,
she did.
Like, I was never a Madonna guy, but she looks cute in that Madonna outfit.
She does, yeah.
But I went with the final pink dress that Michele has on.
Yeah.
That is just fun and silly, and it's just
cute.
Her. She kind of looks like one of the, a fembot from...
Austin Powers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's cute, and she looks adorable in it.
That is cute. All right, so themes that we explored this movie. There's a lot of themes in this movie. Number 1, mean girls in high school. Yeah. If there's a high school reunion, there's going to be mean girls. Yeah. And there was mean girls in this movie.
And theme 2, 10-year reunions. Useless activity?
I think so. We did not go to our 10-year. We haven't been to any high school reunions.
I don't think we've had any because our high school doesn't exist anymore.
I think we were invited to our 25th or something.
Oh, I saw a 10 come up.
Okay.
And that was the only one I've seen. Yeah. But again, I'm not on any social media platforms or anything. So they could have had one every 5 years for all I know.
Yeah, they don't know how to find you. All right, theme 3. Sometimes a cool guy turns out to be a dud. I love that trope in movies when someone loves the cool jock guy and then sees him years later and he's a pure dud. Right. And that's exactly what happens in this movie.
They have so much fun with it in this movie, too, though. I mean, Vincent Ventresca acts like an 18-year-old in
Yes,
this.
He does.
And it's so funny.
Yes. It's if Fun Bobby went to high school and moved to New York.
Yeah. And theme 4, being yourself. Being weird pays off.
Sure does, yeah. Just be weird. They enjoyed themselves, so what difference does it make? All right, we didn't do this on the other movie. We talked about some of the music, but I enjoyed the music of this movie so much, and mainly because I think we grew up with all these songs. Right. These are songs we knew. So we're just going to go through a couple of the songs on the soundtrack because it was such a fun soundtrack.
And again, I think the fun thing is when you're doing a high school reunion movie as opposed to a high school movie, like they always try and have to pick out songs that are cool now and hope they're still cool later. At a 10-year reunion movie, you can be like, okay, we can pick all the fun songs from the 80s that everybody still knows.
Yep. So, Just a Girl, Staying Alive, YMCA, She Blinded Me with Science.
Yeah. I Want Candy.
Yes.
Addicted to Love. Whip It.
Yeah.
And Time After Time.
Oh, yeah, they did that dance routine.
Yeah.
Footloose, Turning Japanese, Karma Chameleon, which was my very first CD ever. Actually, it was a cassette tape, sorry. Always Something There to Remind Me, Don't Get Me Wrong by Chrissy Hynde. Also, another Friend alumni.
Everyone Wants to Rule the World. Bad Case of Loving You. Heaven is a Place on Earth. We Got the Beat. And more. I mean, there's more in there. But
oh my gosh, it was such a fun soundtrack. Yeah.
We Got the Beat. Those are Go-Go's.
Yes. We got the beef. We got... Okay, I'll stop singing. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
You looking at your medal from the reunion again, dear? You miss her, don't you?
Duh.
Michele, have you been terribly unhappy with me all these years?
Oh, no. No, Sandy.
Oh, good.
I've just been lonely with no one to talk to.
All right, we're back for the Act 1-ish synopsis.
Act 1-ish. All right, so before we get started, I'm going to start off with some trivia, because both the Romy and Michele characters originated in the one-act stage play called Ladies' Room by Carolyn Cage. And Lisa Kudrow reprises the role she played in the play.
Right.
She played that.
Right.
She met the writer, Schiff, while performing in the Groundlings improv group. So they got to know each other.
Right.
She saw her in that. And so they
wrote
it.
Skit.
A little skit. And then they made it into this movie.
Aw.
I thought that was fun.
Yeah. So the movie starts, and I have to say that the fabric credits are fun and just help set the tone for the movie.
Right. I mean, so the credits are over the fabrics that they make all their clothes from.
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of cute. It kind of
cute.
fits the tone. And they're very 90s. Very 90s patterns that make you go, oh.
I remember that.
They were crazy back then. And our duo, Romy and Michele, are living in Santa Monica, California, on the beach. I have a note for the producers. When the characters are supposed to be kind of losery, don't have them live in a beachfront apartment. I mean, it kind of, what's so bad about their lives?
Right. They live literally across from the beach.
Right.
So we open on Michele and Romy watching Pretty Woman, and they talk about how they love to watch it to make fun of it. And they call the saleswoman, they're watching the part where Julia Roberts gets turned away by the saleswomen, and they go, you know that they're bigger whores than she is.
I know, I thought that was a little rough right off the bat, but it's like, okay.
I was like, whoa, where's this movie going? But then they get sad, forgetting that they were making fun of her. And then they get happy because they finally let her shop.
Whatchamacallit, Pretty Woman is one of those movies that right when it came out, a bunch of people goes, oh, it's a modern day fairy tale. And then other people were like, whoa, wait. Should we be calling this a modern day fairy tale?
Princesses are not whores. I'm not saying that. Right. I'm just saying that's what people say.
That's what some people got so mad at. I remember thinking, well, yeah, Joe versus a volcano is a modern day fairy tale.
Right.
I don't know what Pretty Woman is, but... And the other thing that is funny is their beds are right next to each other. Like, they're in a hotel room. Right. That would be a little weird.
That is weird.
So the girls go to get ready for a night out because I guess that's what you do when you're in your 20s and single, I guess.
You didn't spend much time in your 20s single.
No.
Yeah, I guess so. But I'm jealous of their closet because it is sparkly and bright and full of a lot of fun clothes.
Yeah,
Again, not stuff that I would wear, but I didn't go clubbing. And I'm sure if I did, I might have dipped into that closet.
So Michele asks Romy if she has lost weight. And she's like, she's been trying this new diet.
So the only thing she's eaten for 6 days is gummy bears, jelly beans, and candy corn.
God, I wish I had your discipline.
They definitely have the Phoebe confidence thing going, the vibe, because they compliment themselves, not each other, themselves, on how cute they look. And agree that it's the cutest they've ever looked.
Right, but it's weird because they're not necessarily being conceited.
No, they're just being honest with each other.
Yeah. If they were talking to somebody else, it might seem a little conceited. Right. But talking to each other, it seems fine. Like, oh, I'm a cutie pie. And then they head out to the club, and they hope to pick out guys, but they have no luck, but decide to dance with themselves, by themselves.
And did you notice that they had their own routine?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I guess if you went to the club every night, you would end up with a little routine, right? I mean, we still need to practice the dance from Peacemaker. Remember?
Oh, that's right. We were going to practice that.
We were going to learn the dance from the beginning of the TV show Peacemaker.
That's funny.
But we don't go to the club every night. So when do we get the opportunity to do that? Then Romy says the exact same line that Chandler said. Sometimes I wish I were a lesbian.
Oh my God, you're right. So Romy says, nah, but ask me again if we're not married when we're 30.
Well, if you're only going out on dates with each other.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, so then we find Romy works as a cashier at the Jaguar dealership, and she runs into her high school classmate, Heather Mooney.
And Heather Mooney is played by the amazing Janeane Garofalo. I've always loved her. So trivia, Janeane Garofalo turned down the role of Monica.
What?
Yeah, she auditioned for it, but didn't think she was the right person for it and turned it down.
Huh.
So.
Well, good, I guess. I don't know.
I like Monica.
Yeah.
So she informs Romy that she invented the quick-burning cigarette paper and asks her about their 10-year high school reunion.
Yeah, and Heather is like, I'm not going to that reunion. She would rather put her cigarette out in her own ass. And Romy wonders why they didn't get an invite. Michele surely would have told her.
Right. Heather remembers Michele Weinberger because Sandy Frink had a major crush on her instead of Heather.
Right.
And that's why he always carried such a big note.
For his erections.
I think that was implied.
No, they actually say at one point it was to hide his erections.
Really? Yeah. And Heather thought that Michele and Sandy Frink would be married by now.
Romy says that Michele did not have a thing for Sandy. Mm-hmm. They always thought Heather had a thing for Sandy.
Right.
And that's when she does her, I did not have a thing. I did not have a thing. I was very much in love. There's a difference. There's a difference. She gets so panicky about it. It's cute.
And then she leaves. It's so cute. So then we go back to the girls' apartment, and they reminisce with their high school yearbook, and they go down memory lane.
Yeah.
And this is where we see that Heather was tormented by the mysterious cowboy who never spoke to her, but flicked his cigarette at her when she asked for a light. Right. And that's where she gets the idea for the quick-burning cigarette paper.
Right, because she wants to smoke a cigarette between classes.
That's right.
Yeah, and I think it's fun that almost all the characters are set up through the flashbacks.
Yes, yeah. So they go back and set up all the high school characters.
Yeah, and of course, again, it's fun that all the adults are playing the high schoolers. But it's kind of like in Pin 15, where they're just
have different hair
playing weird, exaggerated high school characters, and it's so goofy and fun.
It's funny because you didn't even know that was Justin Theroux because you can't even see his face.
No,
it's just a guy in a black cowboy. Yeah. He's wearing black.
Well, he wasn't anybody back then, so yeah, you don't even see him till the end of the movie. Yeah. He's only in like one scene. But they got their. And I like when they're looking at the yearbook. Yeah. And they have their yearbook picture taken together.
Yes, because it's Michele.
Right.
It's Romy White and Michele Weinberger.
And Danny Weller lodged a complaint because alphabetically he was supposed to be in between them.
And then Michele goes, didn't he die?
Yeah, after implying that they said he could come over and get between them for real.
Oh, that's right.
And they're like, and then we told him to get out of here, you freak. And then he's like,
turn the sprinklers on him.
Didn't he die? Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, that's that little bit of Dumb and Dumber. I think overall, they're a lot nicer than the Dumb and Dumber guys who are just cruel to everybody.
Yeah.
But they are a little bit mean here and there. We also find out about Christy Masters and the A group, and the B group was the drama club, and the gay guy that Michele liked, and he didn't like her back. Right. And then when the C group was the honor group, and the rejects, and more Heather and Sandy stuff at the science fair.
Yeah. And then they weren't in any group, they say. They were loners. And they show us that Michele wore a full back brace. It goes all the way from her hips up to her neck, and it swivels at the waist.
Yeah.
So when she sits down, You can hear it squeak. And supposedly Romy is fat in high school.
Yeah.
Like, they try and play her off as fat.
Yeah, they give her a little...
little derriere.
Yeah.
A little junk in the trunk.
Yeah.
And then we see that movie trope of the loser girls wanting to be in the A crowd, but being picked on by the mean girls.
Right. And again, I think we've said this before. I have no idea
who the mean girls were.
What group I was in or what cliques there were. I just kind of did whatever I wanted. I didn't pay attention to that stuff. So, but we get introduced to Billy Christensen, which is Fun Bobby.
Yep.
And he in high school, he's the jock, and Romy has a huge crush on him. And he's got that, I'm very fit and very athletic, right?
Right.
But I like that he plays Billy like very zoned out. Like there's a lot of scenes where he's just staring off like a teenager.
Yeah.
And it's really weird.
He basically just follows Christy McMaster's.
Right. He's just like, this happened. What should I do about
Yeah.
it? And she's like, go do this. It's like, okay. But then like at the prom or at the... Yeah, when they showed the prom later.
Right.
Not the ending of the movie.
Okay.
And he's got the little crown on. He gets this little...
Yeah, he's so excited.
I'm so happy I'm prom king. But he looks like an 18-year-old.
Yeah. So Billy Christensen is dating Christy Masters, and she has her regular band of misfits.
Hey, don't associate them with the name of misfits. Misfits are generally good.
Okay, I'm sorry. Her band of baddies?
Yeah. I was going to call them Heathers. I kept wanting to call them Heathers.
Yeah.
But Janine Garofalo is Heather.
Oh, that's
And that
true.
skews the whole thing.
Yeah,
it kept confusing
it
me through my notes. Because instinctually, I just wanted to call them Heathers.
That's funny. So she has her band of baddies, except one exception, Lisa, who thinks that their fashion is not so bad.
Yeah.
So she speaks up twice throughout the movie going,
Yeah.
I don't think they're that bad.
Right.
So Christy goes over and puts magnets on the back of Michelle's back brace.
Ugh.
And then steals Romy's hamburger because, Romy's excited and supposed to be fat. And
Fucking bullies.
so, yeah. So a little bit of trivia. In the dream sequence of the reunion, when Romy and Michele are on stage to receive their weird awards, because it's, a dream sequence, you can see just above the stage in the lights, there are strung what look like bananas on one side and carrots on the other.
Yeah.
That are like the magnets that she put on her back in high school.
And I was glad I read that in your notes before I rewatched it. And I was like, oh my God, that's so cute. That's such a fun detail.
And then the room that they're in for the reunion in the dream sequence is called the Christy room.
Right.
And there's also huge pictures of Christy all around
Christy
the
Masters
room.
all over. Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole other side is just the high school pictures of her.
It's so funny.
Again, it's
a
that dream
sequence.
nightmarish.
Yeah.
I like the magnet scene because it's so over the top. After he tells her, the music kind of swells and the camera swings around and it's like, "Durr," and it's like the magnets are the most horrible thing in the world, because kids would care about stuff like that. But as an adult, I think the over accentuation of it kind of makes you go, well, come on.
It's just magnets.
Who gives a shit? If I had gone to high school with a back brace and I would have notes magneted to myself all down my front.
You have notes, like leave a note, take a note, stuff like that.
Anyway, Romy helps Michele laugh off the magnets, and then they reminisce about the prom, and Romy says how she got mono and lost all that weight, and it was the best diet she ever had. And then they both dress like Madonna and talk about how they're looking forward to going to L.A.
And I think, you had mentioned earlier, Lisa looks really cute as Madonna.
Yeah.
She's
seconded.
Whole outfit is so cute. Yeah. And they make fun of everybody else dressing like they're going to what they call it, a barn dance or something.
And again, all the other girls have crazy hair and crazy outfits, except that one girl, Lisa something, who's kind of nice.
Right. 'Cause she was into fashion.
She looks very cute.
Yeah. And of course, Christy and Billy win prom king and queen.
And again, Billy couldn't look more like a dork if he was trying.
Yeah.
And I like that Michele tells Romy, everybody, we talk about it more coming up.
Yeah.
But everybody's kind of mean to somebody else.
Yes. Yeah.
Romy's like, I want to go ask him to dance.
Right.
And it's prom. It's my last chance. And She's like, totally.
Yeah.
He's totally going to say yes because
nobody's going to say no.
Nobody's going to say no tonight. And then immediately Sandy comes up and goes, will you dance with me? And she's like, no. And then Heather comes up to Sandy and says, will you dance with me? And he goes, no, because it's no fun if you don't love the person. It's like everybody just keeps getting shit on down the line.
It's so sad. Heather is so sad. And then Heather ends up yelling at Toby.
Yeah.
So it's like everybody is mean to somebody. So Romy does ask Billy if he will dance with her, and he tells her to wait, which we all know is code for he's going to stand her up.
Well, yeah, why would you wait here at a dance? Yeah. You're either going to go over to the dance floor or you're not.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's okay, because Michele dances with Romy.
Yeah. And in this flashback, we see that Michele was kind of mean to Sandy Frink. Heather was mean to Toby.
Yeah.
The cowboy was mean to Heather. The mean girls were mean to Romy and Michele. And everyone had a tormentor.
Right. Because that's how high school works.
Yeah.
Nobody gets out unscathed.
That's right. Somebody has to have somebody.
Somewhat sad, they decide that they're going to go back to their reunion and blow them away. But the reunion questionnaire makes them feel sad again, and they don't feel overly impressive anymore. Well, more so Romy than Michele.
Yeah, but who feels impressive after 10 years of high school?
Right. Unless you're Brad Pitt or somebody right out of the gate. It's like...
Right. Pick up some cleaning products. But they decide they still really want to go to the reunion, and then they have a plan to get ready. They just need better jobs and boyfriends, and they have 2 weeks to do it.
So then we get a montage of Michele on Rodeo Drive trying to get a job, like Pretty Woman trying to shop.
That's right.
I mean, there's so many layers here. Now she wants to be the... Never mind. I'm not going to say it.
Then we also get a montage of them working out and Romy trying to bag them boyfriends.
Yeah. And when they're on the exercise bikes, which is a pretty funny scene anyway.
Yeah.
But there's a woman out of focus behind Lisa Kudrow who keeps laughing at her saying her dialogue.
Oh, you're kidding.
No, there's a woman who's cracking up next to her on the bike.
So their workout outfits were almost my favorite.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure we mentioned them somewhere in here, but they are fucking amazing. They make all their clothes, and those workout outfits are so funny.
Yeah, so funny. Not practical.
No. They're wearing high heels on the treadmill. Yeah. So I like it when she meets the suit salesman at the club. So he says, she goes, is that Armani? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, what do you do? I'm a suit salesman.
Right. And that's the guy she tells her shoes filling up with blood. Yeah. So things are not working out. So they give up and pig out. And we see the table full of snacks and a bag from the fucking Big Kahuna Burger.
I know. So here's the trivia for that. References to Mira Sorvino's then boyfriend, Quentin Tarantino Productions.
Oh.
In the scene where Romy and Michele are pigging out in their living room, you can see the takeout bag from the Big Kahuna Burger because...
From Pulp Fiction and others. From
Pulp Fictions and other movies that he did, because they were dating and it would cost money to get other production approvals, he offered them to use Big Kahuna. He also let them put an ad for Red Apple cigarettes on the building next to their apartment.
Nice. So this actually takes place within his little universe.
His little universe.
Yeah.
Somewhere Mia Wallace is walking around.
Yeah. I wonder if it'd be funny if Romy was the Bridget Fonda and Jackie Brown.
Oh, that would
She's a little trashier. She's on drugs a few years later.
So that's when our girls have their epiphany to pretend to be successful. Pretend to be successful businesswomen to go to the reunion.
Yes, and Michele makes some business suits.
That's right.
Which are very cute, too.
They are very cute. And Romy talks Ramon at the dealership into letting him borrow their car, his car. So trivia, when she goes in to talk to Ramon at the dealership, all the service guys are standing around watching The Simpsons.
Right. They are. I saw that. And then later when they're doing their fake sex scene, the guys start touching each other.
Yes! were watching that last night. It was so funny.
It was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, so Romy's pretending to have sex with Ramon so that he looks good in front of the guys for loaning her his car. And the guys are listening at the window, and they start touching each other, caressing each other's arms.
I'm listening and getting in.
Yes.
It's weird.
It's so funny.
But, I mean, that's basically, I mean, we could go a couple further scenes.
Yeah.
But that's basically Act 1. High school, overgrown Valley girls, best friends living together in LA, going back to Tucson for their high school reunion, trying to impress the mean girls and the jerky guy. We'll do some trivia and talk about some characters, but we also might get into spoiler territory now. So if anybody wants to go watch the movie, hasn't seen it, or you haven't seen it for a while and you want to come back, now would be the point to do that.
All right, so let's start off with the overall tone of the movie. So the tone of the movie is pure goofy. We talked about it before. Mm-hmm. It's fun. It's about friendship. It's about revenge. And it's definitely about clothes.
Yeah.
Like I alluded to earlier, I think it is truly the female version of Dumb and Dumber.
Right. Again, I think the Dumb and Dumber guys are a little meaner.
Yeah.
It's just my memory of them.
Right.
I haven't seen it in a while. Mm-hmm. But I think the girls are more in that Homer Simpson kind of lovable doofus. Would never do anything to hurt anybody on purpose, but not necessarily the brightest bulb either. I mean, it's very goofy, very silly. Like, I don't normally care for dream sequences at all. But they have an extended one here, and it's so silly, you can't help but love it. I mean, at first you're not sure if it's a dream sequence.
Right.
You're not sure if they're just arriving at the reunion. Then it starts to morph, and you kind of get it figured out that this is not actually reality. And then it turns into like I forgot to get dressed kind of dream. Just out of nowhere.
She goes up on stage and she's just wearing her bra. And she goes, I'm sorry, I forgot. I can't find my top.
Yeah.
And everyone cheers. It's so funny. So I think like this movie was early on female duos.
Right.
You know, like we don't see a lot of female duos.
No.
Now we have Amy Poehler and what's her name? Sorry. Help me. Tina Fey. Sorry.
Yeah. I was like, Liz Lemon?
Now we have Amy Poehler and Tina Fey. But before we didn't have like a lot of women duos.
Right.
And so I think it gave women free reign to act like idiots on screen.
You can be a dork and you can be a...
Yeah, I think it opened the door for Melissa McCarthy. I mean, she was on the Groundlings after, Lisa Kudrow was there, and Kristen Wiig was also in the Groundlings. So I think it just like kind of opened the door to like you can make an idiot out of yourself, and it's okay. Right,
it's okay to do that. and I know there's some dudes out there that think women are not funny. It must be sad to be one of those men smearing themselves in peanut butter and masturbating in their own feces.
Hey, that's from 7.
What's funnier? You have Romy and Michele, and also Heather, and you have poor crazy Toby. You have all these different kind of crazy female characters within the movie. And I think if they would have had just a little more fun with that, with the bad girls a little bit more.
Yeah.
And it seems like some of their stuff might have got cut.
Oh, okay.
Because I think I might say it later, but I feel like we missed out on the whole how Lisa Luder fell out of the group.
Oh, okay.
I feel like there's a whole thing we missed there, but...
All right, so we have a couple location breakdowns for the movie. 2 primary locations. LA, where Romy and Michele live now.
Right.
We lived there for a time. Looks accurate.
Yeah.
And they show a lot of iconic locations like Santa Monica Beach. We went there.
Yeah.
Rodeo Drive.
Yep.
But that's really all you see of LA.
Right.
You don't see much more.
And then Tucson is, which is where the movie was filmed.
Yeah.
In Tucson, Arizona, for the majority of the film, it's just outdoor high school lunches and lockers. And, other than you see them driving across the desert, the style of the hotel and where the reunion's held.
Yeah, you couldn't even tell you were in Arizona. Yeah.
I mean, it does look like Arizona.
Oh, definitely. All right, so let's talk about some side characters.
Okay.
So let's start with Toby Walters. She's played by Cameron Manheim. She is the high school spirit.
Yes.
She is epitome of high school spirit.
Right.
She is tortured by Heather Mooney, who keeps telling her to fuck off. But is finally vindicated when Heather realizes that she tortured her throughout high school.
Right. And she's so excited about it.
She's like, tremendous! This is tremendous. Go get your stupid yearbook. I'm happy to sign it.
Yeah, and I like that she plays Toby, again, so over the top.
Yeah.
Like a real pep rally type person that's just, I'm doing the yearbook and I'm running the table and I'm, just that, that person.
Yeah.
And she's just always super duper happy.
Okay, so we have Lisa Luder, who's played by Elaine Hendricks, and I really like her. I like her. Yeah. I've seen her in other things. She's just a small character in most things. Yeah, but she's I think really
she's been on a Criminal Minds too.
Yeah, she has. She was in Friends. But she's a good character. She's the one in the mean girl group that's kind of like, why are we being so mean?
Right. And I like that she is kind of a mean girl because she gives Romy a look when she's like, I invented Post-its. She kind of looks at gives her this look like, I don't think you did.
But she doesn't call her out on it.
No.
Yeah.
And like I said, I feel like we really missed a subplot where Masters kind of pissed off to Lisa Luder.
Right.
And she was like, okay, forget it.
Well, Christy Masters stayed in Tucson, Arizona, and Lisa Luder's the editor of Vogue.
Right.
So that's probably where they broke up. Then we have Christy Masters, played by Julie Campbell. She's a perfect mean girl. Yeah. I loathe her laugh. Like when she gets up there and goes, they invented Post-it notes.
Oh, yeah.
I hate that laugh.
Yeah, horrible laugh.
She's the typical high school trope who thinks her jock boyfriend is the greatest, but turns out to be a big dull dud, and keeps having kids to keep him trapped in a marriage that is for pure show. Yeah. Which Billy confirms when he says he's not even sure the third kid is his.
Yeah. Again, a stereotype that kind of makes fun of the stereotype. Yeah. Where she just locks herself into this shitty behavior. Yeah. And she just won't let herself out of the cycle. She creates her own misery. Right. The only thing that she does that I don't agree with, she never would have bailed on prom early. Yeah. She would have closed that fucker down. Because that's the type of person she is.
For sure.
Okay, then Billy Christensen, played by Fun Bobby. Vincent Van Tresca. Yeah, and I think this could be considered a real Fun Bobby backstory.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a far stretch that he could have left Tucson before Christy got pregnant.
Right.
I kind of think this, like this movie theme where he's the high school dreamy hunk guy, turns out to be the biggest loser later in life, and the girl dodged a serious bullet.
Yeah. And I like that he's supposed to be the generic teen bully, but he plays him like such a doofus.
Yeah, he's not a dick. Most of the jock guys that are going with the cheerleader girlfriend are dicks, and they're mean. He's just a lapdog.
Right. He's just like, if he would have dated Romy, he would have been a completely different person.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. And then the ever lovable Heather Mooney. Heather is played by Janine Garofalo and basically is Janine Garofalo. She's a no-nonsense, cynical, chain-smoking, madly in love with Sandy Frank until she sees him in the reunion and realizes what a geek he really was.
Right. For a second, I had to think, why doesn't she know what he looks like? Oh, yeah, it's the 90s.
Right.
Not every billionaire is on line all the time.
Right.
I love Heather. She tortures Toby, the school newspaper council. We talked about that. And in turn, she's tortured by the cowboy who never speaks. And until the reunion where he even apologizes. Yeah. Everybody has their turn. Yep. Because high school is so stressful. Yeah. And there's the people who can't handle that. And even he's like, I didn't say 2 words to anybody in high school.
Right. It was too hard. Yeah.
And, he's played by Justin Theroux. And then Frank's helicopter takes off in the end. And we see the, Heather and the cowboy making out in the field at the end.
I like that his name is Clarence. And she goes, I like your hat, Clarence. He goes, thank you.
And I heart Heather so much. Yeah. If she wasn't a smoker, she'd be perfect. I mean, I like when she ruins the lie in front of again, I called him Heather's.
Yeah.
which makes it confusing. But in front of the A girls, you know, whatever. She immediately realizes she just blew her lie. Mm-hmm. And she kind of looks like, I want to apologize. No, I'm just going to leave. I'm going to leave the situation. She just walks away.
It's too hard. I can't do it.
And then she apologizes later. But I just think that's funny.
And then let's finish up with Sandy Frank.
Oh, played by Alan Cumming. Geek turned billionaire. He is in love with Michele, who is not in love with him. And she is kind of mean to him.
Yeah.
Until...
She's pretty mean to him.
Yeah.
There were geeks in high school who crushed on you that you blew off. Did you know of any?
I was unaware of anybody having a crush on me in high school. So, I don't think so. But he returns as like a billionaire, inventing some specialized rubber.
Like a condom? Which is what Michele
I like that he's got his little tennis shoes on.
Yeah, those are so cute.
I have trouble he's been in a ton of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I know him from lots of stuff. I still call him Floop.
Yeah.
From Spy Kids.
Spy Kids, yeah. In the dream sequence, I think it's funny that they make him over. It's so funny. And it's odd. In the end, it's like they they smoothed his face out. Yeah. It's really weird. And in the end, I can't really tell if Michele actually likes Sandy.
Right.
But he does give him a loan, so.
Right. Well, my interpretation of what happened, and I think that's where they leave it, because I think it's supposed to be kind of, you don't know what's going on,
okay,
so you can kind of form your own
opinion.
I assumed she kind of went, and because she kisses him.
Right.
I assumed that originally there was an ending where she got married to him. And they probably went, well, let's just have them be...
Yeah.
Because it's not really about...
them getting married.
Them getting boyfriends. Yeah. That's not the kind of movie that this is.
That's true.
So I think they kind of leave it to where you don't... I assume she went on a couple dates, and he was like, oh, she's nice, but, why was I infatuated with her?
Right. Kind of like Heather Mooney.
You're right. And then, he helped them out with their store and, whatever. But,
so here's a bit of trivia.
Okay.
Alan Cumming owns a bar in New York City called Club Cumming.
Oh, snazzy.
Where every Saturday...
Let's go there.
The bar hosts a Romy and Michele themed day.
All right.
Involving all 90s music. DJ requests are written on Post-it notes. Oh. And there's a scarf folding station. Oh. This club is still open today. It's 505 East 6th Street, New York, New York. It's open from 6 p.m. to 4 a.m. most days.
Are they sponsoring the podcast?
Maybe. Let's slide into Alan's DMs and see what he says.
Oh, my.
All right, now to our primary character.
Yes.
We have Romy White, who's played brilliantly by Mira Sorvino.
Yes.
And she plays a somewhat similar version of her Linda Ash character from her Woody Allen movie, Mighty Aphrodite.
Right.
She plays a bit ditzy but world-wise in some ways character.
Right. I haven't seen that in forever.
I saw a clip of it because I was I was looking up trivia and stuff like that. So I saw a clip of it. Her horse.
Her horse.
Her voice is much higher pitched, if you remember, in Mighty Aphrodite. Right. But I have some trivia on that too.
Yeah.
So. But Romy seems happy with her life until she's told about the high school reunion, and then realizes their lives are not impressive enough for the reunion. So here's the trivia. Mm-hmm. Mira said her sister talked like an actual Valley girl most of her life.
Oh, my God.
And so she mimicked her speech patterns after her sister, but she made her voice much deeper while she did the Romy character.
Okay.
Because she said she thought of her character as the guy in the relationship. Oh. Someone who takes charge, is the brains of the operation. And she goes, but that backfired.
What's her dad's name?
Paul.
Paul Sorvino. Yeah. It's hard to think of one of Paul Sorvino's children being a Valley girl.
She said that they grew up in New York, but her sister was born in New Jersey.
Oh. But again, he seems like he's one of those guys that always plays a tough guy, but seems like an absolute arty teddy bear in real life.
Yeah.
It makes sense that you say that about her character, after watching the movie, because she is the one that cares the most about how she's perceived by others.
Yeah.
And her ideas are kind of, Homer based.
Right.
They're like I said, they're kind of that.
I have 2 weeks. I can do this.
Right. I have 2 weeks. I can get a wife and a fancy house and a new
car
job.
and, I think she's funny. I think she's a very good comedic actress. Mm-hmm. Although Mira Sorvino has been interviewed many times saying she doesn't think she's a comedic actress. And she credits her her acting in this movie to Lisa Kudrow. And she says, I was just playing off of her. But I think she's very funny.
Well, you know what? Now, again, I love her performance. I think she's good. Mm-hmm. I think she's great in the role. But in the scene in the car dealership, when she's doing that, she's really good at delivering all of her lines. Mm-hmm. But when she's not saying anything, she's kind of, again, like a comedic, like Lisa Kudrow would be still reacting to people silly and kind of, doing other things. But she was just kind of plain kind of there. And I was wondering if maybe that was one of the first things they shot.
Yeah. Because
she is so much better in the rest of the movie.
Right.
And it's not that she's not funny in that scene.
No, yeah.
But she has to have the lines, I guess. I guess she's not really an improvisational actor.
Yeah, no, she isn't.
Is what I would say.
For sure. And Lisa, she grew up in the Groundlings, which is an improvisational comedic troupe. So. Right. All right, let's go on to Michelle Weinberger, our dear Lisa Kudrow. She said she actually grew up in the Valley. And she was a Valley girl, so this was not much of a stretch for her character. Okay. Michelle and Phoebe have a lot of similarities, I think. They're ditzy. Yeah. Again, they have that Zen-like thing about them. Right. She cares deeply about her friends. And like Phoebe, she really doesn't care what other people think.
Yeah. Like you said, like Phoebe, Michelle dances to the beat of her own drum. Mm-hmm. She seems perfectly content and only ever freaks out at the idea of not being friends with her best friend anymore. Yeah. I mean, that's the only time she gets freaked out. Yeah. She kind of yells at Romy. Yeah. Because she's like, what the fuck? We're not friends right now. I can't take this anymore. It's very cute.
It's very cute. She would have been perfectly fine going to the reunion as she was. And she didn't really give an F. She did everything that for Romy. Right. Like, she put on the business suit. She pretended to invent Post-it notes. She really didn't care. She would have gone as herself and told him she was unemployed. She just wanted
to see people. But again, Michelle reminds me of a golden retriever. Mm-hmm. Like, she's kind of playful. She's kind of fun. Kind of ditzy. But you're not going to find a better friend on the planet.
No, that's for sure. So I also read that Lisa and Mira wrote the line, "We don't care if you like us." That whole one of my favorite lines. Yeah. Because they wanted to make sure the girls had their moment with the mean girls. That wasn't originally in the script. Right. And so they just were like, we get it, but we just want to make sure that they know
the audience needs to see that they've overcome that hurdle.
That we're not going to think about you anymore. Right. And we need you to know that we don't give a fuck if you care about us anymore. Right. So I thought that was really cool.
Very cool.
All right, we're going to take another break. We'll be right back. Are you a high-powered businesswoman on the go?
Lady Fair.
Are you a woman that's long on the stress but short on time?
Lady Fair.
Now there's a cigarette for the woman on the go.
Lady Fair.
Our new fast-burning paper is designed for women by women.
Lady Fair.
Buy Lady Fair cigarettes, the cigarette for women on the go. Now in menthol. And be on the lookout for new Lady Fair cigarettes for men. Gentleman Fair.
All right, we're back.
We're back for the wrap-up. So, what did we learn from this movie?
Joe, what did you learn?
I learned you don't always have to win at life, as long as you're having fun and with your best friend. It sums up my life with you.
Aw, that's so cute. I learned that life can be hard for super hot blonde women. Wait, I'm kidding. I learned that everyone's life is different, and so you can't always tell what's good and what's bad from the outside. So just enjoy yourself.
That's right. What were your reactions to this movie?
This is a solid, goofy, fun flick. I mean, it's not too full of itself. It isn't pretending to be something greater than it is. these days people are so obsessed with how much a movie makes and how popular it is and blah, 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 blah. It's just nice to watch just a regular silly movie that isn't like dumb.
Right.
It's silly, but not stupid.
Right. I agree. I like Romy and Michele. Like I said, it's fun, it's goofy, it's humorous. It's not thought-provoking. It's not solving any world problems. It's just reminding us to be ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's good.
Yeah.
All right, so even though we always do a sweater vest tracker, were there any sweater vests in Romy and Michele?
No sweater vests to speak of in Romy and Michele.
But we had a ton of crazy fun outfits.
Yes.
Again, the workout outfits were amazing and would have won, ironically, for me, but I couldn't pick one because they were all so good.
Right.
So what are we doing next week?
Next week, Season 3, Episode 1.
Wow.
The one with the Princess Leia fantasy. Monica gets down in the dumps after breaking up with Richard. Joey hates that Chandler is dating Janice again. And Ross tells Rachel about a certain Star Wars themed fantasy that the writers try and ruin for everyone.
We have guest stars like Jack, Judy, and Janice.
Yeah, they all returned for the season premiere.
Are you ready for some maladjusted content?
Sure.
What did we do this week?
We were both sick.
Yeah, again.
Yeah, well, I got sick.
You got sick.
You didn't really get. You got a little
trailing of my other sickness.
And the girl kid was sick.
We need to burn some sage or some voodoo magic in this house because we need to get better. Because in 3 weeks we'll be in Iceland.
Oh my goodness!
We'll be celebrating our 30th wedding anniversary in Iceland.
So I'm going to say it here. We've tried to get a couple episodes ahead.
Yeah.
And then we fell behind.
Because everybody got sick and the boy kid moved out.
Then we were moved up and then we were behind. So we might skip a week.
Yeah. So sorry, Misfits. If we have to skip the week we're in Iceland, we'll try and keep you entertained on social media, but you might have to wait a week before an episode. We'll do our best.
Yeah, we're going to try and get caught back up again. But it turns out to be a lot of work for just losing our spot all over the place.
Right, yeah. But yeah, so we watched some Umbrella Academies. Mm-hmm. We're now on the season 4.
Right. And we watched some of the Ripley TV show.
Oh, yeah. Those are really good. What's that guy's name? Andrew Scott.
Yes, Andrew Scott. So he was in Sherlock.
Yes.
He was.
Yeah, Moriarty.
Benedict Cumberbatch Sherlock series.
He's really good.
Yeah.
But he's obviously older than the character that Matt Damon played in the movie Ripley.
Right. I think they tried to make it a little bit older, but I think they're going to try and do some of the other books.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's why they were kind of going with.
But it's very stylistic. It's in black and white.
Very film noir.
So good. So beautifully shot. Yeah.
Beautiful movie.
Yeah. TV show.
TV, whatever.
But yeah, so we watched that. We've watched a couple episodes of that. It's really good. It follows the Ripley story. If you've seen
The Talented Mr. Ripley
with Matt Damon.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really good. So I'm
excited. You get a little more on the characters, a little more on the how hard it was to cover everything up.
Yeah. He shows this one scene where he's like exhausted after he's trying to cover up the murder of Freddie. Right. It was so funny because in the movie they don't show that, but in this it's like it was so funny. I watched the other day when you were sick. I watched Serendipity. Do you remember that movie?
Yeah, I remember Serendipity.
I thought John Cusack looked his best in that movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was pretty cute.
I don't know. I can't. Gross point blank for me. I don't know.
He looked really nice. Now I want to watch Gross Point. All right, you misfits. We're going to wrap it up here.
Yep.
You've been great. Thanks for listening to us talk about Romy and Michele's high school reunion. If you would like your thoughts or reactions regarding future episodes or anything about season 3 that you would like us to add, please reach out and say hey.
Yeah, we'd like to include more from you misfits out there.
You can email us at themaladjustedmisfits@gmail.com. You can rate us and leave positive comments.
And if you have a negative comment, try to leave it in a positive way.
You can also reach out to us on Facebook and Instagram, or just like and share our posts.
Oh.
The pages are called The One Where We Talk About Friends.
Joe, are you ready for a cup of coffee?
Always. That's impossible. Did you deduct 16 pounds for your shoes?